My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments, for length of days, and long life, and peace, shall they add to thee. Proverbs 3 verse 1-2. In order to live a fulfilling and truly meaningful life, we have to follow God's leading. God's leading produces life. The world's influences lead to sorrow and even untimely death. We follow God's leading through prayer and reading His Word. Ephesians 6 verse 22 says, "Whom I have sent unto you for the same purpose, that ye might know our affairs, and that He might comfort your hearts." The whom Paul mentions here was Tychicus, who was a fellow minister, who was sent to the people of Ephesus to bring news of Paul. This was long before the days of phone calls and emails, so Paul had to have a way to communicate with these people. Messengers such as Tychicus were often used to communicate messages between churches in that time. Paul has been imprisoned in Rome, and surely the churches, where he has preached, wondered about his welfare. Tychicus would have brought a measure of comfort to these people who had formed relationship with Paul. To know that he was surviving, almost thriving, through his trials would have brought them great comfort, as with the letters that Tychicus would have brought them from Paul. Even today, letters from missionaries to their home churches are encouraging. Such letters give those who are unable to go into the field a chance to encourage and pray for those who are giving their lives in the mission fields. Devotion topic is, Christ is always faithful. Paul is writing to Timothy from prison, a malefactor in the eyes of Roman law. But Paul can still speak of the Lord's faithfulness to him, and encourages Timothy to remain faithful as well. He is also encouraging Timothy to prepare others to carry on the mission of spreading the gospel. In speaking about the faithfulness of God, he also promises that even when we are not faithful, Christ Jesus will not abandon us. We have a couple of things to think about in this passage. The first is obvious. Do we remain faithful in times of crisis or tragedy in our lives? Paul knew he would probably be killed for his work, and he was correct. Yet he did not abandon his faith, but rather encouraged others to stay the course when things got bad. The second is directed at who will spread the good news once we are gone. Are we encouraging our youth to serve God as missionaries, ministers, deacons, teachers of the faith? There's a passage in Isaiah that talks about the joy that comes from hearing the good news. But this passage also poses the question of how can people hear if there is no one to tell them? Today, we are on the front line of bringing the message of salvation. We are also on the front line of making sure that the next generation will also share the joy of knowing the great gift of salvation won for us by Christ. If you enjoy this video, please like and comment telling us that you enjoy it. And remember to subscribe and turn on your notification bell, that way you will not miss any of our videos.